This year's The Game Awards event is behind us, and today we've prepared for you a summary of all upcoming indie games that were presented at the event. You better buckle up because this summary is going to be quite impressive. Get popcorn in your hand and let's start the fun with my next games. Do you know that game from 2013 where the player controls two brothers and goes on an adventure through fairy tale lands? We bet you don't, but nothing's lost because a remake of that game will hit store shelves early next year. The first stop on our list is Brothers Tale of Two Sons from Starbreeze Studio. It's a beautiful adventure game with fairy tale graphics in which we can play either solo or in local co-op. Brothers Nai and Naya must find a cure for their seriously ill father. To do so, they go on an expedition deep into the land to reach the Tree of Life. The game is full of puzzles that require the cooperation of both characters and require the player's creativity, as some of the arcade tasks can be quite challenging. You will be able to play this player-appreciated, dramatic and yet wonderful adventure in a refreshed form on this year's February 28th on PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and of course on PC on Epic Games Store, GOG and Steam. The second game on our list will be the second part of the iconic 2008 game. The World of Goo returns after 15 years and will once again fill our hearts with blackness. After the studio's first part, which by the way is probably not rated lower than 9 out of 10 on any platform, 2D Boy are back with, as they themselves claim, the biggest game they've ever created. In the World of Goo we have to complete successive stages with a limited number of glutes, which must be enough for us to create a structure that allows us to save as many black bubbles as possible. Despite its uncomplicated appearance, the game is not at all as simple as it might seem. In order to complete successive levels, the player must demonstrate considerable creativity and remember the important laws that govern the world, such as the law of gravity. So far, the developers have not officially given a specific release date. We only know that the World of Goo Part 2 will be released in 2024. Winter has just begun, we're in January, and on the third place we present to you June. Usual June. This game is the latest production of Finji Studio, which takes us to the magical world of Astral Ghosts. We play the role of June, a teenager entering adulthood and having to deal with all the issues that fall on her head with graduation, and in the process she also has to overcome a mass of magical spirits appearing on her way. During her journey through magical dimensions, the girl will meet many friends, both living and those in less material form. As the developers themselves say, the game's story is meant to be both scary, funny and charming. Usual June will provide a frantic and dynamic combat system, and judging by the trailer, will provide a ton of fun from slaughtering more and more monsters. Unfortunately, we will have to wait until 2025 for the game's release, but so far it promises to be definitely worth it. The fourth game on our list is Harmonium the Musical. This unique musical adventure game tells the story of a little deaf girl whose passion is music. One day it turns out that she has to face an unknown force, which can only be defeated through music. What's so special about this production is that the game is told entirely using sign language, making it accessible to a much wider audience who face many obstacles in their lives. As we can see in the trailer, it promises to be a beautiful and colorful Disney-style story. The Old Gentleman Studio is responsible for Harmonium the Musical, and currently a release date has not yet been announced. The next game is Thrasher, another production from the creator and composer of the acclaimed Thumper. And if you look at the trailer and you have absolutely no idea what this game is about, rest assured we don't know either. To be fair, Thrasher actually looks quite chaotic and it's not quite clear what the principles the racing mechanics will be based on, because yes, it's a racer of some sort, but we certainly can't deny that this project looks very interesting thanks to all those psychedelic effects and light play. The game will of course be available for VR, and our ride, in any case some kind of a space snake, will be controlled with controller gestures, and allegedly thanks to this we will be able to hit various combos, overcome obstacles and even fight bosses. It promises to be a super difficult game to max out, but it will certainly find its audience. It will be available for purchase on this year. Since we are halfway through our list, let me tell you about a production we are working on with friends. Hank Drowning on Dry Land is an adventure game telling the story of Hank, a superhero with the ability to travel through time. Unfortunately, Hank has one problem. He struggles with alcoholism. In the blink of an eye, he lost everything he had, and one day after waking up with a crazy hangover, he realized that he has the ability to manipulate time. From that moment on, he helps the city authorities to chase criminals, which did not escape the attention of the greatest criminal and illusionist this world has known, the Unraveler. In the game, the player will of course take on the role of Hank, and with the help of unique time manipulation mechanics must solve more puzzles, passing through successive levels and locations. However, every powerful ability has its downside. In this case, Hank has to avoid his past selves in order to not create a space-time paradox. If you would like to get to know our emerging game series a little more closely, we invite to visit our website and of course Steam, where you can find both the short game Hank's Stray Jacket showcasing our work on the dialogue system and the demo of Hank Drowning on Dry Land. If you like the game, don't forget to add Hank Drowning on Dry Land to your wishlist on Steam. You will find all the links in the description of this video. We will be very grateful. And now let's get back to another indie game, which is Windblown. This is a production of the same developers who a few years ago released the excellent game Dead Cells. Probably the biggest change of Windblown compared to Dead Cells is the transition from 2D to 3D graphics, and what can I say, the game looks awesome. It's the fairy tale like and at the same time eye-catching and blood-curdling visuals go very well together. In the gameplay moments we can see that there will definitely be a lot of action, and what's also interesting, in Windblown we will be able to play even with 2 other people in co-op mode. There will probably be 3 different characters to choose from. According to the Steam page, we will play one of the Leapers. The main plot is to save the land from being engulfed by a huge vortex. We will have to visit locations with memories of legendary warriors, which will allow our heroes to learn brand new attacks and combos, and well, Windblown will be a roguelike, of course, so there will be plenty of deaths and even more fun. Personally, this is probably my favorite game presented at this year's The Game Awards, mainly because I like the game animated trailer and because gameplay looks very dynamic, a lot is happening on screen, and yet it all seems surprisingly clear. Windblown will come out in early access this year, so we are already looking forward to it. Now it's time for something more obscure, as it's a turn of the sequel to Pony Island, subtitled Panda Circus. For those who don't quite grasp what this series is all about, I'm already here to explain. Stylistically, of course, the game is based on 8-bit arcade machine productions, and the character we play is trapped in a fictional game of the same name. As it turns out later, the program was created by the devil and our soul is trapped forever in the game machine, and our task is to get out. A lot of puzzles, a lot of arcade segments, and a lot of fourth wall breaking. And as for Pony Island 2 Panda Circus, we can see that we will be dealing with something similar, although we see a lot more inspiration from Japanese culture here. And just as the first part wasn't exactly about ponies, this part is unlikely to be about cute pandas either. The game created by Daniel Mullins doesn't have a release date yet. From the final scene of the trailer we can only deduce that it will come out in 2024, 2025 or 2026, so well, further zero specifics. If you miss the immensity of production starring mech battles, well, a new era of this type of production may have just arrived. Mecha BREAK is a new multiplayer game from Amazing Season, which is expected to provide players with tons of fun, from various mechs to choose from, through duels with other players to battles with huge bosses. Gameplay from the trailer looks phenomenal to say the least, and if the developers actually manage to bring the product to completion in this form, we could have another hit with mechs. Closed alpha tests of Mecha BREAK are set to begin soon, so we'll probably get a bit more information from those testing the game, and for now we have to wait for the official announcement of the release date. If you like puzzles and detective games, then you will certainly be interested in The Rise of the Golden Idol, which is something of a sequel to the previous Case of the Golden Idol. The production is a point and click, but there is something about it that sets it apart from other games of its kind. We have to collect names, clues, evidence and connect all the dots to reach a final conclusion that will allow us to solve the mystery. In this case we play the role of a treasure hunter, and our investigation will set off on the trail of a mysterious statuette that can change the fate of the world forever. As many as 15 criminal cases await us, from which we have to draw our conclusions, and this is what's cool about this production, that we can independently make our theses and look for evidence for them without being guided by the game's narrative. The Rise of the Golden Idol will be released this year, and with that we move on to the last production in this video. Rather, everyone knows a game about a mean goose stealing people's items. Such a simple untitled goose game has stolen the hearts of gamers, and the new production of House studio named Big Walk has just as much chance of doing so. This co-op multiplayer adventure takes us and our friends into a huge open world full of puzzles and riddles that we and our companions must solve. However, the most important thing about this production is something completely different. It's about the very fact of being able to spend time with our friends, explore a vast open world with all kinds of terrain, watch the sunset together and drop your friend into the abyss. Simple graphics, which at the same time have something unique in them, are an ideal complement to this production, which promises to be quite good. Whether it will actually be so, we will be able to verify in 2025. And that were all indie games that were presented at this year's The Game Awards. It's time for this episode's question, which is: which of the presented indie games did you like the most and why? We will pin a heart to everyone who answers in the comments. If you like our videos, don't forget to click subscribe and leave a like, we'll be very pleased. That's all for today. In my next games, the next video on the screen in 3, 2, 1. Stay tuned, hey!